Good day, everyone. This meeting is being conducted via remote communication. Copies of the 2023 Annual Report and Information Statement may be downloaded from our ASM portal, which may be found at www.holcim.ph/ASM2024. In compliance with regulations, we'd like to inform our stockholders and other participants that this meeting is being recorded. Our meeting will start shortly. Thank you. Welcome to the 2024 Annual Stockholders Meeting of Holcim Philippines, Inc. Let us start the proceedings with the invocation. Let us clear our minds and unify ourselves in spirit as we begin this annual gathering. We give thanks for the blessing of another good year that translates to tangible benefits for every stakeholder of this company. We express our deepest gratitude for the opportunity to serve through Holcim Philippines as the company pursues its goal of providing a solid foundation for the nation's future. We pray that a strong sense of responsibility and service continues to guide us and lead us in carrying out our calling and mission to our stakeholders, to nation building, and to global citizenship. Amen. Ladies and gentlemen, the Philippine National Anthem.
Bayang magiliw, perlas ng silanganan, alab ng puso, sa dibdib mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, duyan ka ng magiting, sa manlulupig, di ka pasisiin. Sa dagat at bundok, sa simoy at sa langit mong bughaw, may dilagang tula at awit sa paglayang minamahal. Ang kislap ng watawat mo'y tagumpay na nagniningning. Ang bituin at araw niya kailan pa may di magdidilim. Lupa ng araw ng walhati't pagsinta, buhay ang langit sa piling mo. Aming ligaya na pag may mga api, ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
The absence of our chairman, our vice chairman, Mr. Martin Kriegner, is hereby appointed as the acting chairman for the purpose of this meeting.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our acting chairman, Mr. Martin Kriegner.
Dear shareholders, as you know, the year of 2023 continued to be a challenging year for our company. I am proud of the bold steps we took to manage the turbulence and prepare ourselves for future success. We accelerated programs to raise the business and sustainability performance of the company. This year, we can stand proud in setting new records for using alternative fuels and raw materials, expanding our green building offering, and raising operational and resource efficiency. Our drive to put sustainability at the heart of our strategy is key to these achievements and the growing recognition of Holcim as a builder of progress in the Philippines. I'm thankful to the team of Holcim Philippines who led these efforts. These were key to our resilience and provides us a strong base to deliver stronger results in the future. I'm also thankful to our business partners for their continuing trust. I'm confident that with the support of all our stakeholders, we will make greater strides in accelerating our transformation to be a stronger partner in building progress in the country. I would like to acknowledge the presence of the members of the board of directors of Holcim Philippines. First, Ms. Tan Ten Wei. Then Dr. Thomas Aquino. Then Mr. Medel Nera. and Mr. Gerardo C. Ableza Jr. Our President and Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Horia Adrian.
No.
Our Corporate Secretary, Attorney Belinda Dugan.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Our Chief Financial Officer for the EMEA region, Ms. Claudia Albertini. And our Chief Financial Officer, Ms. Zoe Sibala. And finally, I also welcome all our members of the Holcim Philippines Executive Committee and Leadership Team, as well as our employees of the company present at this meeting. Let us now proceed with the first item on the agenda. With the Corporate Secretary, please certify the posting and publication of notices and the existence of a quorum for this meeting.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. I certify that stockholders of record as of April 15, 2024 have been duly notified of this 2024 annual stockholders meeting in accordance with our internal guidelines specified in the definitive information statement and the requirements of the Securities Exchange Commission. The notice and agenda of this meeting, together with the definitive information statement, which also contains the requirements and procedure for registration, participation, and voting in absentia, were posted on the company's website, www.holcim.ph/ASM2024. In addition, the notice and agenda of this meeting was published in Business Mirror and the Manila Times on April 25 and April 26, 2024, both in print and online formats. Based on the record of attendance, there are represented in this meeting, in person or by proxy, stockholders owning 6,269,947 shares, 947,302 shares, or 97.18% of the total issued and outstanding shares of the company as of record date April 15, 2024. There is therefore a quorum at this meeting.
The Corporate Secretary will now share the rules of conduct and voting for this meeting.
Mr. Chairman, the rules for voting in this meeting are specified in the definitive information statement, which is available for download at the company's website, www.holcim.ph/ASM2024. I would just like to remind the shareholders of the following. Shareholders who registered and are entitled to vote may vote by proxy by sending the signed copy of the proxy form not later than May 9, 2024 via email to HPI Legal and Compliance, phl@holcim.com, or in absentia by filling in on the online voting form available at the company's website, www.holcim.ph/ASM2024. We have preliminarily tabulated the votes received as of the last day of receiving the proxies on May 9, 2024, after the proxy validation process. The tabulated votes represent stockholders owning 6,269,947,302 voting shares, representing 100% of the total issued and outstanding shares represented in this meeting. I will refer to the preliminary tabulation when I report the voting results during the meeting. The results of the final tabulation will be specified in the minutes of the meeting to be posted on HPI's website. We encourage everyone to send their questions to hpi-investor-relations@holcim.com. These questions will be read by our communications manager, Mr. Don Hill K. Carion, during the Q&A. Shareholders attending this meeting may still send their questions by sending an email to hpi-investor-relations@holcim.com. However, due to time and technological challenges, we may not be able to read aloud and respond to each question during the meeting. Management will endeavor to reply to all your questions via email.
Thank you, Ms. Dugan. There being a quorum for this meeting, we now proceed to the other matters in the agenda. The first item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes of the annual stakeholders meeting and special stockholders meeting held via remote communication on May 11th, 2023 and September 2023, respectively. Copies of the minutes of meetings are posted in the company's website and are also annexed to the company's definitive information statement. May I ask the corporate secretary to please share the voting results for this item on the agenda?
Mr. Chairman, on the voting results, I am pleased to report that shareholders owning 6,269,947,302 shares, or 100% of the total number of shares represented in this meeting, have voted in favor of the approval of the minutes of the annual stockholders meeting held on May 11, 2023, and the special stockholders meeting on September 22, 2023.
With that, the minutes of the 2023 stockholders meeting are hereby approved. The operations report incorporates the message of our President and Chief Executive Officer, the 2023 annual report, and the audited financial statements for the period ended December 31st, 2023. May I call on our President and Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Ria Adrian, to report on the company's operations for the year 2023.
So, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just wanted to give you a brief overview of the operational performance of the year 2023. So, as mentioned in the introductory word of Mr. Chairman, that 2023 was a difficult year from the market point of view. We were facing a soft market, increased amount of imports, as well as still higher costs, especially on fuel and electrical energy. Overall, the results were actually resilient. We only reduced our net sales by 9% versus 2022, and our net income dropped only 4%. And we recorded a net income of about 900 million peso. The biggest achievement that we had last year were the achievements related to sustainability. We continue to reduce our carbon footprint for our products that we sold by 6%. We continue to incorporate more recycled materials in our products by using more than 1 million tons as both alternative fuels as well as alternative raw materials in our products. We have launched EcoPlanet, which is the lowest CO2 emissions product that you find in the markets in the Philippines, and we continue to expand our sales of this product throughout the country. And with the digitalization, we have improved our operational efficiency with more data-driven decision making. So we are having, in my opinion, the most efficient operations in our industry in the Philippines. In 2024, the outlook is similar to 2023 in terms of market. So we expect continuous, let's say, increase in government expenditures with the program Build More and Better, with let's say investments into infrastructure projects, and probably second half of this year will be having a bit more construction activity because we have in the next year elections. In terms of private consumption, we expect it will remain soft. So overall, the construction market and the cement demand in the Philippines will probably remain soft. If not, we will have a small growth, 0 to 5%. Next slide. So this is a breakdown of our top line performance on different business segments. So overall, we reduced our net sales by 9%. The main segment that we are operating in is cement, and here we have a reduction of 9%, mainly driven by volumes. The prices were more or less flat versus 2022. And in the segment of aggregates, we recorded an increase of 6%, driven by both prices and volumes. And in the dry mortar business, we had also a reduction similar to the cement, as this segment is mainly addressing the private sector. And as I mentioned, this was a soft segment last year. Next slide. That's the summary of the performance on sustainability. We managed to reach 539 kilograms of CO2 per ton of cement last year. We incorporated, as I mentioned, more than 1 million tons of recycled materials in our cement. And in terms of fresh water withdrawal, we are at 89 liters. These are lower numbers comparing to last year, comparing to 2021. And I think this is the best performance in the history of Holcim Philippines. Next slide. Maybe just to put a little bit of, let's say, tangible results when it comes to sustainability performance. So our sustainability efforts were leading to a saving of about 900 million peso. So without this, our operational results would have been much more worse last year. And maybe you would ask yourself, what does it mean, reduction of CO2 emissions? So last year, we reduced about 200,000 tons of CO2 emissions, which is an equivalent of removing from the roads 100,000 vehicles for a year. So if somebody is interested, what is the contribution to the environment? That's the contribution of environment of one single operation, Holcim Philippines, last year. The amount of waste that we reuse in our operation is equivalent to the amount of waste that Quezon City is generating in more than 500 days. And the amount of water that we saved last year would be enough for 1 million individuals for a day. So that's more, as I said, to put this sustainability efforts into some tangible, let's say, perspective. Next slide. On the decarbonization of construction industry, Holcim is following, Holcim Philippines is following the Holcim group strategy, accelerating green growth, that was already launched 2 years ago. And we have a holistic view on this. So we are not only going to reduce the CO2 emissions on our operations, we are going to contribute with solutions and products to build better with less, and to make the new buildings more sustainable. And eventually, at the end of the construction life cycle, the building that will be demolished to reuse the concrete into new buildings. Next slide. So here on the decarbonization of our own operations, we have done important steps in greener formulation. As I said, we launched Eco Planet last year, which is the lowest CO2 footprint cement that you find in the Philippine market. We have started to implement some solar, let's say, power plants in our operations to consume more energy generated by renewable. And we have signed contracts with hydro and geothermal, let's say, suppliers in Mindanao. and we have an ambition to use electricity generated only by renewable power plants in the future. On mobility, we have invested in some electric vehicles, and I think we are the first, let's say, operation in the Philippines in our industry that have installed in Bulacan recharging point for electric vehicles, and we will continue to do that in all of our operations so that we will facilitate the usage of electric vehicles. We have invested in electric vehicles last year, and we have in plan to invest further in more than 10 vehicles for 2024. Plants of tomorrow, that's about linking our operations with data-driven sensors and facilitating better decision-making and consuming less resources. Next slide. On building more with less, we are the company that has the widest, let's say, product range in the market. We have EcoPlanet, which is our, let's say, key product for general construction. We have Wallride, a product that is aimed for plastering and masonry. We also have two products. Tector is the brand for finishing works, dry mortar. We have also Solido, Optimo. These are products for specialized construction, for high structures, or more sophisticated type of concrete. So we cover the entire range from foundation to rooftop of a building with our solutions, and we are educating the market to use the right product for the right application and eliminate the wastage in the construction industry. Next slide. In terms of making the buildings more efficient, we are not only working on the new buildings that are being built, engaging with architects and engineers to build better from the beginning. We are also working with existing buildings, and this is an example of a community program that we had last year in the region of Aurora, in the village of Valer. Here we work with ASCII, a financial partner, with Build Change, that is an NGO looking after housing in the entire world. And we have rehabilitated several buildings of members of communities here, buildings that have been built without following the construction norms, and they were a bit not unsafe as well, not only not efficient, but also unsafe. So we have been able to bring this to a better state. And I would say the best, let's say, feedback I got during this program was that during the typhoon, they will be happy to accommodate the community now in this building, because they will be sure the building will stand such weather conditions. Next. As I said before, we are continuing to engaging with architects, engineers, but also authorities and users, because the decarbonization of the construction industry, it will require an effort from our side. So we are leading the way here. We know what needs to be done. The solutions are available today. It's just it's important to increase the awareness and to increase the decisiveness of the decision makers in the construction industry to adopt the right solutions for decarbonizing the construction industry in the Philippines. And we are supporting the government of the Philippines, who actually committed in the Paris Agreement to reduce the CO2 emissions by 75% by 2030. That's a very ambitious target, and Holcim is a strong partner in this journey, and I'm convinced we can do it. Next slide. We continue to work on some innovation that is addressing the needs of the Philippines. One innovation is the Terra Pro, is a is a product that will be aimed at building durable roads with less materials. I think there are many agricultural, let's say, farms in the Philippines, especially in Mindanao, that requires better roads because when you have rains, then you cannot collect the crops and you cannot transport the crops to the market. So with this sustainable solutions, TerraPro, we are going to support farmers to build sustainable roads. And this is not only addressed to farming roads or agricultural roads, but also it's a product that can be used for national roads as well. Another interesting innovation that we will launch after doing a study last year in Davao, we will contribute to regeneration of the coral population that is destroyed to a big extent following the dynamite fishing in the past, following the climate change impacts on the corals. And Holcim is the first company in the Philippines that is going to provide a sustainable solution on regenerating the marine ecosystems. So we have planted some artificial corals more than 10 years ago in North Mindanao, and it's doing well. So now we learn from that experience, and we are ready to multiply, working with authorities and customers here to add more to improve the marine ecosystems. Last but not least, we launched the Innovation Hub. Holcim is the company with the widest amount of knowledge in construction industry worldwide, and we have our R&D center in Lyon with a lot of innovation from all over the world, and we are able now with artificial intelligence and virtual reality to bring this entire experience of visiting this R&D center here in the Philippines. So we launched this innovation hub in the beginning of this year in Davao. But with, as I said, with virtual reality and virtual reality set, you can just follow the innovation in the hub and have even a live interaction with colleagues in this hub, and we are able to share the solutions that are available worldwide for anybody who would be interested to replicate something in the Philippines. Next. Yeah, I think that was the last part of my presentation. As I said, for 2024, we will continue to accelerate our efforts on cost reduction, to accelerate our efforts on sustainability and recycling. And we will be agile in the market in order to be the best company in our industry and to generate positive results. Thank you.
Thank you, Ria. Copies of the 2023 annual report and the audited financial statements for the period ended December 31st, 2023 are posted on our official website. Will the corporate secretary please share the voting results on this item on the agenda?
Mr. Chairman, I am pleased to report that shareholders owning 6,269,947,302 shares, or 100% of the total number of shares represented in this meeting, have voted for the approval of the operations report comprised of the 2023 annual report and the audited financial statements for the period ended December 31, 2023.
Thank you. The company's operations report, comprised of the message of the Chief Executive Officer, the annual report, and the audited financial statements for the period ended 31st December 2023, are therefore approved. Before we move to the election of directors, I would like to provide some additional background on why the Board of Directors suggests reducing the number of directors from currently 7 to 5 directors. As you know, the company is no longer a listed company, but now a public company. This change led the Board of Directors to look at the company's governance structure to see if the structure as of today is still the right structure for the future. At the board of directors, we concluded that the structure can be simplified and made more efficient to consolidate the oversight control in a reduced number of directors and committees. This will allow the 5 directors in the future to increase their oversight on all the matters pertaining to the company and be more directly involved with the company matters. We now go to the election of the directors. May I request the corporate secretary to advise the body of the nominations received.
Mr. Chairman, we have received the following nominations for directors of the company for the year 2024 to 2025. Mr. Martin Krigner, Miss Claudia Iris Albertini, Mr. Horia Adrian, Miss Tan Ten Wee, Mr. Gerardo C. Ablasa Jr. as Independent Director. The Corporate Governance Committee has duly ascertained that the 5 nominees are qualified to serve as directors of the company. All the nominees have given their consent to their respective nominations.
May we have the results of the election, please?
Mr. Chairman, each of the nominees have received at least 6,269,947,302 votes. Based on this, I certify that each nominee has received sufficient votes for election to the board.
Based on the corporate secretary's certification, I declare all the nominees as the duly elected members of the board of directors for the year 2024. We now proceed to the next item in the agenda, which is the amendment of the company's articles of incorporation and the bylaws. These amendments are proposed, as mentioned earlier, to make the governance structure more effective and bring the board even closer to the business. And we will, as a main change, reduce the number of directors, as mentioned earlier, from 7 to 5. Can we now move on with this item on the agenda, please, Corporate Secretary?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. The board recommends the amendment of the Articles of Incorporation and Bylaws of Holcim Philippines, Inc. to reduce the number of directors from 7 to 5, to reflect the relevant references to public companies pursuant to the company's delisting from the Philippine Stock Exchange, and to simplify the company's organization. The proposed amendments are flashed on the screen. The amendments cover particularly the 6th article of the Articles of Incorporation and Article 2, Section 1 of the bylaws to reduce the number of directors from 7 to 5. Article 2, Article 3, Section 2, Article 3, Sections 5, 8, 9-A, 9-B, 9-C, 9-D, and 10. And Article 6 of the bylaws to reflect the relevant references to public companies pursuant to the company's delisting from the PSE and to simplify the company's organization. On the voting results, I am pleased to report that shareholders owning 6,269,947,302 shares, or 100% of the total number of shares represented in this meeting, have voted in favor of the amendment of the company's Articles of Incorporation and the bylaws.
Having received enough votes, the amendments of Holcim Philippines Inc.'s 6th article in its Articles of Incorporation and Article 2, Sections 1 and 2, and Article 3, Sections 5, 8, 9A, 9B, 9C, 9D, and 10, and Article 6 of the bylaws are hereby approved. We now go to the approval and ratification of all the acts, contracts, investments, and resolutions of the Board of Directors, the board committees, and management since the last annual stockholders meeting. Management seeks the approval of the shareholders for all acts, contracts, investment, and resolutions of the Board of Directors, the board committees, and management since the last annual meeting. May I ask the Secretary to please share the voting results on this item?
Mr. Chairman, I am pleased to report that shareholders owning 6,269,947,302 shares, or 100% of the total number of shares represented in this meeting, have voted for the approval and ratification of all the acts, contracts, investments, and resolutions of the Board of Directors, the board committees, and the management since the last annual stockholders meeting.
Thank you. The acts, contracts, investment, and resolutions of the Board of Directors, the board committees, and management since the last annual stockholders meeting are therefore ratified and approved. We now proceed to the next item in the agenda, which is the appointment of the external auditor of the company for the year 2024.
Mr. Chairman, the Audit Committee recommends the appointment of SGV and Company as the external auditor of the company for the year 2024. On the voting results, I am pleased to report that shareholders owning 6,269,947,302 shares, or 100% of the total number of shares represented in this meeting, have voted in favor of the appointment of SGV and Company as the company's external auditor for the year 2024.
Having received enough votes, SGV & Co. is hereby appointed as the company's external auditor for the year 2024. We now proceed with the question and answer portion of today's proceedings. As stated in the definitive information statement, all stakeholders of record were allowed to submit questions via email or through the ASM registration page. We will now reply to those questions from stockholders. May I request the communication manager, Mr. Don Jill Carrion, to read the questions.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We have received 3 questions from our shareholders for this meeting. If due to timing, we are unable to read all the questions, we will endeavor to respond to each of your questions through email. The first question, sir. Can we still sell our HPI shares? How do we go about this? I believe this will be...
I can take this question, Don. Thank you. I think Holcim will continue to explore the possibility to purchase publicly held shares, and we will come back to the public at the appropriate time should this be pursued. But I think yes.
Thank you, Mr. President. The second question is, what is the company doing to improve performance with imports growing their share in the market?
Yeah, I think first of all, we have to be cost competitive, right? We have to do our best efforts to be the most cost competitive player in this market. And second, we have to continue to innovate. We have to continue to delight our customers, to make them loyal to us. Because only if you do that, then you have a chance to fight with very cheap imports. And last, we continue to work with the authorities here to promote the Buy Local program, because I think this is benefiting the Philippines industry of any kind, not only construction or cement for this matter. I think if we keep manufacturing abilities in the Philippines, it will serve the country well in the future. And there is a strong, let's say, commitment at the highest level in the country. The president has ratified this Build Local program recently, so we hope that this will be implemented in all the public projects, especially. So yeah, cost.
Thank you, Mr.
Delight customers and lobby for buying local products. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. President. For the final question, will the company pay dividends this year?
So the company will not pay dividends as of today. It was also not on the agenda, and we will continue to reassess the situation And we will, if we come to the conclusion of dividends, we will come back to this topic based on our dividend policy. Yeah.
Again, thank you, Mr. Adrian. Mr. Chairman, those are the only questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Secretary, is there any other item on the agenda?
No other matter, Mr. Chairman.
There being no other matters on the agenda, we can now adjourn this meeting. Thank you very much for your attendance. Again, we are committed to strengthen our company, to uplift all our stakeholders, and better support the progress of the country of Philippines.
Thank you again for attending the Holcim Philippines Annual Stockholders Meeting. Have a good day.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Please, for the new directors, please.